out at Wembley, but a vital challenge.
Hugely important position here from Fred. I mean, you can see straight away why Eddie Howe's picked St Maximin. The energy he's bringing to the team and the ability to go past players, a little bit something unexpected. But this here, I mean, Guimaraes, he's never going to pull out of that. He's wholehearted into this challenge here. He wants a shot at goal. It's a brave tackle from Fred to really get a good clap.
Well, he's growing on the United supporters, Fred, it would be fair to say.
It's taken a bit of time, hasn't it? But I agree. I think he's getting there, isn't he?
They are the long-time pair, Jason Tindall and Eddie Howe, together at Bournemouth and Burnley, and Bournemouth again. St Maximin, he's in the mood. And Gallo got his timing right.
He's not leaving it to any doubt, is he? St Maximin's pretty clear what his intentions are at the moment, and pretty clear what Newcastle's are. I mean, it got switched out to him quickly again. They're looking to get the ball out there as soon as possible, and he is running at Darlow any opportunity he can.
Oh, and a timely head from Luke Shaw. This time it was done by Fabian. Manchester United trying to bring a bit of calm and order to proceedings. Fred will pick up the scraps. Byrne will keep his eyes on the ball. Bruno Guimaraes being harried and hassled by Weghorst, who felt he got it cleanly. Referee David Coote was of another view.
I think it was just from behind, wasn't it? Whether or not he contacts a piece of the ball there, Weghorst certainly took a piece of Bruno Guimaraes. I think he just contacted him before he won the ball, and the referee didn't allow him to play early because it wasn't quite in the correct spot, so brought the play all the way back.
Casemiro. Way through for Anthony. Joe Linton, Bruno Guimaraes, St Maximin. Well, that is one way to stop him. And baying for a relatively early yellow card for Diogo Dalot.
Well, there's a reason why the Newcastle players are surrounding the referee, because they know how important this card is. Makes all the difference in this game. You are 1v1 with Alan St Maximin for the rest of the game, and I have to agree with the referee. I think it is a yellow card. It's so deliberate. St Maximin's away from him. It's a clumsy tackle. Doesn't need to make that there either. You're in the middle of the park, and now he's on edge the rest of the game.
He is in a very precarious position, the way St Maximin is going at anybody in a red shirt. The commitment of Fabian Schär appreciated. He has really become a key figure in this Newcastle side. Now everything physically is right. He's had a lot of problems in that regard. share again. That went out of play. Threatened to send Marcus Rashford searing away down that left flank. It's a cold day at Wembley.
I see you've gone early with the hat.
It's always my policy.
Yeah? Don't wait till you get cold.
Don't allow it to happen. There's other headgear in use at Wembley today. There are some braver souls than I in the stands. Longstaff's challenge, the hero of the semi-final. And this is where the annoying bit comes in that Erik ten Hag was talking about from Newcastle. Delaying tactics. They like to stir the pot. That happens in the technical area as well, with Jason Tyndall often lighting a fuse or two, the assistant manager.
Yeah, they like to get set, don't they? And I think they use it. I mean, it's an organised tactic, isn't it? Anyone who's near the ball, stop it going early, and it just allows the back four midfield players just to get set, and I suppose it's reflected in that defensive record.
Martinez's ball forward. Varane got it right.
He had to. He saw that early, Varane. I think if the ball had gone a fraction earlier, he might have been in trouble, but he got out there quickly.
Now Anthony, fed by Bruno Fernandes. Dalot. Towards Fred, and Weghorst is in there. Will it break from Weghorst? A very routine save indeed for Karius, which will make him feel better nonetheless.
Oh, it's a real chance though, isn't it? I mean, it's a bit fortunate the way it's popped onto his left foot and ricochet, but he just hasn't caught hold of that. He's leaning a little bit. He's just a bit of a wild swing with his left foot. If he strikes it cleanly, I think Karius is in a bit of trouble. It's quite close range.
Trippier. Beautifully teased in there to Callum Wilson. Well, Trippier's deliveries of whatever nature are always top quality, and that's a skill he's had from a very young age. One of his Manchester City Academy coaches said he saw it in him as a 12-year-old.
It was a delicate pass, wasn't it?
And Trippier's involved again, and again it's a threatening ball which Varane defends. Now Burn. Weghorst loses out. Saint-Maximin. Bruno Guimaraes is so adept at shielding the ball. Almiron. Trippier. Almiron again. Duel that between him and Shaw. Fernandes. Casemiro. That was wrong. Space created here for Anthony. And now Dalot. More dangerous ball. And some important defending there. Bruno Guimaraes able to hook it away. Finally.
Well, that could have gone anywhere. It really could. It just bounced out. He was lucky it was to a Newcastle player, but great run from Dalot, and it's a brilliant cross actually. He just whips it with real pace. Every centre forward loves that opportunity just to get across, and Weghorst just couldn't get there.
That was situation a centre-back particularly enjoys, or they shared it well.
He did. Just to get anything on it, but no, that is not what you want as a centre-half. The ball with that kind of pace on it can just go anywhere, which it did actually, but could have popped out to a Manchester United player easily. It's been a good start, hasn't it? Good entertaining start to the game. Kieran Trippier was right in the fact that Newcastle are not just sitting in there, they're having a go and they're getting up the pitch and getting the ball out to St Maximin every opportunity they can.
For all the high energy about Newcastle's start, the most presentable opportunity undoubtedly falling to Wout Weghorst. Rashford's on the move here, they've got to get it right, and they haven't. Anthony. With every feel of the ball carries, his confidence will grow. And some good quick distribution as well. Longstaff. And Anthony sprawling, couldn't quite cut it out. This is St Maximin. Weghorst. Bruno Guimaraes, fed by Joe Linton. Almiron. Trippier with him. And he'll use him.
That little pass, Kieran Trippier. The amount of times you see him nutmeg someone in that position just to roll that ball into the path, it was just a little bit too straight this time for Almiron, but got real purpose when they go forward, Newcastle.
Ball's backing in. A little warning gesture from referee David Coote, who didn't feel necessary to award anything. But Newcastle lose possession, and Casemiro, well, it wasn't the ball everybody expected. He sought out Rashford when Anthony was on.
It did surprise me, he chose that option. Anthony was the much easier ball.
Now Bruno Guimaraes is asking for a yellow up against a pair he knows well, his compatriots Fred and Casemiro. Anthony appears to be in a little bit of difficulty for Manchester United at the moment. After his sparkling contribution in midweek, he we'll certainly hope his Wembley debut does not end prematurely. A little spot of bother in his groin area.
He's not leaving it alone, is he? He's not really looking like he's shaking that one off at the moment as he just goes to press this ball. He's not moving well. Bruno Fernandes on the move ahead of the ball here.
He will keep Botman honest. To say, it has been notable how deep Weghorst has dropped at times, but he's very much the leader of the line. Managed to keep it in play there. Off the head of Shaw. He's behind you. It's Almiron. Martinez didn't seem to be totally aware of his presence.
A little bit worried there, didn't you? Thought he was not going to see him. I think he was just trying to bait him in a little bit, wasn't he? Getting closer.
It'll be foolish to underestimate Lisandro Martinez. He's in such a hit.
He was massively underestimated, wasn't he? until he got into his rhythm, and I think everyone went, oh, he's a real player, and he's certainly proved that. He's been absolutely outstanding.
He's reached great heights, even though there were doubts about him for his lack of it. This is Anthony now for Manchester United. Seeing him moving freely now. Put away by Botman. Joelinton. Well, he has had quite the transformation. It was great relief over he was able to get over a slight injury concern. But talking of which, a worry about Bruno Guimaraes, who has served a suspension lately. Recently at a Premier League match against Fulham, he was withdrawn early with an ankle problem.
I didn't see the incident. It's never good when you don't see an incident and you just feel like he feels something, and the way he sat down, the look on his face, be a real shame, because it's such a key player. If he can't continue, I mean, hopefully he'll get up back on his feet and get stuck back into the game, but it looked like he was really enjoying that battle in there between Fred and Casemiro.
Joe Willock thrust back into the squad today after injury problems of his own, is preparing for the worst case scenario here. But he is able to continue for the moment at least. Here's Varane. Seemingly nowhere to go. Rashford. And now Fred. He's always stretching a touch. Sam Maximan popping it off this time to Joelinton. Even when he slips, he can keep hold of it. Difficult ball for Bruno Guimaraes to get under his spell. And some loose passes. Joelinton keen to seize upon it. Now Almiron sought out, but Luke Shaw reading the situation. An appeal for hands by Callum Wilson against Fred.
Newcastle really pressing the ball well in the middle of the park and getting quite high up the pitch, not making it easy for Manchester United in their own half to be comfortable and get any rhythm or passing game going through the lines. They really are pressing high up and getting a few rewards, aren't they? Turning over the ball, a few loose passes. It's exactly what they want.
Hasn't yet yielded with over a quarter of a game gone. A truly menacing situation in front of goal. What he's seen for the most part will encourage him. Fitted in seamlessly, both as a player and a person. What is a very tight Newcastle group. This is Almiron. Trippier. It's threatening. And it was Shearer up from the back. arriving, hoping to make the most of it. Unfortunately, that burst has come at some cost.
I had to do a little double take to see who it was who actually headed the ball. He's in there out of free play, which is highly unusual. But Martinez really had to stand up brave and get his body in the way and put his head in the way, because that was some force that Sher was attacking that ball with, really clattered him.
A real sense of adventure from the centre-back, but suffering as a result. Former Newcastle manager Steve McLaren on the Manchester United bench. And this is not a scenario where any risk whatsoever can be taken.
I'd be really surprised if it hasn't drawn blood with the force at which they hit each other. I mean, it was a big collision, wasn't it?
Two incredibly committed players. And we hope, while the others can smile, that there is no serious concern. But they will take their time. There are acts to follow, and there are acts to follow. No one has quite yet successfully lived up to the legacy left by this man. If nobody ever does, that wouldn't be a surprise, given his incredible achievements.
I was going to say, is that even possible?
But to get them back on the same road, David Gill alongside him, former chief executive of the club, also a key figure in all their great exploits. He's certainly keeping someone informed about it, at least.
I think it's great to see him and Erik ten Hag as well developing a relationship, and Erik ten Hag really trying to harness some of that knowledge that I'm sure he'll take from Sir Alex.
They dined together recently in the Manchester suburbs. No chance of a quiet dinner, unnoticed these days, but plenty of wisdom passed on, no doubt.
I mean, it's hard to know the protocol for this now. I mean, both players could be fine. You know, normally you'd have a bump on the head, you might cut your head, you treat it and you carry on, but now it's looked at in closer detail, isn't it? And whether or not you feel fine or not, sometimes it's out of your hands as a player. I think that's what we're pushing for more, as medical opinion makes the call on this, as opposed to the player himself, who will always, 9 times out of 10, keep himself on the pitch.
A touch of petroleum jelly, amongst other things, employed. A little cut, it seems, on Fabian Schär. Martinez looked very sprightly as he ran back around towards the halfway line. Naturally, there is always the potential for the reaction to come later when you've had a head knock. Well, the Newcastle ownership, much talked about for various reasons. No shortage of ambition. They are hoping, and this is just the start of many a final, many a great occasion. Also in there, former finalist as a manager in this competition, Howard Wilkinson with Leeds back in 1996. Not a happy occasion when they were beaten by Aston Villa. Great friend of Sir Alex Ferguson's.
And he's my England under-18 manager as well, Howard Wilkinson. Very interesting times away with him, learning from him. Especially he loves set pieces. He's a master at set pieces.
Shouldn't forget he won the league title with Leeds United just 2 years after they were promoted, the final season before the Premier League began. Weghorst under pressure, and that's been Newcastle's mode of business. Apply the squeeze. Dan Burn well forward. There's Fred. Longstaff. Almiron moving at great speed ahead of Trippier. Longstaff beats Almiron. Now Trippier. A family of Manchester United supporters, Kieran Trippier. He's never quite revealed where his allegiances lay as a young man, although he did join Manchester City in his very early footballing days, so perhaps that's why. What a dangerous ball by Longstaff. It will be retrieved by Saint-Maximin. Brilliant feet! And De Gea denies him. And Bruno Guimaraes couldn't control it. But Manchester United alarm bells really clanging for the very first time.
Well, it's so well worked. I mean, this is the pass that we see Trippier make all the time into the space, and it's a brilliant ball that Longstaff flashes across the box. But how about that for a shimmy? Alan Saint-Maximin, crikey, I think he sent me for a cup of tea there. He really did. I mean, Darlow, absolutely no chance of reacting to that. The way he shifts his weight, absolutely superb. He really can produce something special, can't he, at times?
Marcus Rashford on the receiving end.
Just a shunt, isn't it? Rashford tries to get around the outside, and Bruno Guimaraes coming out and helping out the fullback, which he does brilliantly from that centre midfield role. Just a little bit too heavy-handed in the challenge.
Shaw's delivery was really threatening. It's more than that. Casemiro has pounced for Manchester United. And one of the new favourites at Old Trafford has snatched a breakthrough goal in the Carabao Cup final. And just when Newcastle's pressure was at its most feverish, Manchester United spring and strike.
When he came to the club, I never envisaged him being this much of a goal threat. I mean, it's a tight offside shout, possibly, but how about that for the delivery of the ball? It's all about the delivery, this, for me. It's so flat from Luke Shaw with the whip and pace on the ball. It's a defender's nightmare, but he's found a little bit of space just in between the Newcastle players. It's a tight call. There's so many bodies along that line.
Well, a pause, a wait. It could be down to a toenail.
It could take a while.
It is mighty tight.
I mean, who do you go off there? There's, what, 7 or 8 different options as to who's the deepest player.
Well, there we go, the conclusive evidence. And while it's much maligned in some quarters, one of the benefits of VAR is you can celebrate a goal twice.
I've never looked at it that way.
And the Manchester United supporters certainly are. But just when they had their biggest scare, forward they go. Rashford fell, Shaw's delivery, perfection, and Casemiro attacking it with vigour and heading it with accuracy. And is their wait for a trophy going to be the one to end here? Shorter, a lot shorter, but for Manchester United fans used to such high standards, it will feel like an eternity even though it isn't. This is Bruno Guimaraes, Saint-Maximin, Can he find an answer quickly? Guimaraes, Trippier involved, Almiron. Longstaff back on his feet. Weghorst had to get that right, and there was the potential for him not to, coming from that angle.
He just about did get it right, didn't he? Because he got plenty of the ball, plenty of contact as well, but he won the ball cleanly.
Now Botman. The important Newcastle heads do not drop and attempt to keep doing what they've been doing. Hello, eyes firmly fixed. Well, there's been a little disagreement here, which results in a yellow card for Fred. He's involved, it seemed, in a dispute with Longstaff. It's the Manchester United man who is booked. Possibly the challenge that left Longstaff on the deck moments before, just as Newcastle were building up. Wilson beaten to it by Martinez, but unfairly.
He kicks right through his ankle there. Martinez tries to step in front. It's a straighter pass, and he's on the side of Callum Wilson. Such a nimble centre-back. Loves reading the game and stepping around, but I think Wilson just had his body across and he kicked straight through it.
Different. Oh, and followed up by Almiron. Well, the last 6 teams to score first in this final have won this final.
Yep, and this is the goal. I mean, I don't think Casemiro has to do too much here other than just get his head on it. The ball does it all. It's just a fantastic ball in. And all credit to him because he picks the spot, the run's great, little lean on the back of the Newcastle player, but he hangs in the right area and just gets the contact. Really was a good header.
For all the positives those behind that goal have witnessed, it is pain they are currently feeling. Weghorst. Through for Rashford. He has a chance, and when he has a chance, it always seems to work out for him. Marcus Rashford, the in-form player of the moment, gives Manchester United clear daylight. A despairing moment for Sven Botman. And it is a long, maybe impossible road back for Newcastle United.
Well, Weghorst does brilliantly here. Really strong, uses his body well. It's a bit of a scrappy piece of play. It's been a relatively tight game, but when Manchester United have got in these situations, for me, it's all about the quality they have. It's a wicked deflection, it really is. Karius in goal, it just flipped straight up in the air, and his reaction, I mean, the only criticism you could say that is going down a little bit too early, but he's so conscious of the ball going round his ankles from a strike from Rashford that he just can't react in time to the deflection off of that.
Well, there will be a question asked as to whether it will go down to Botman. But everything is going right for him in front of goal. And suddenly, everything is going right for Manchester United. And how do the team in black and white pick themselves up now?
just feel more clinical at the moment, Manchester United. You know, like Newcastle have got in good areas, but they're just in areas like St Maximin's a little bit wide. He's not close enough in front of the goal for him to get his shot off, and there's been really good play. There's something about United when they go forwards, they've just got players that make it happen. And that's what's happened in this game. That is the difference so far.
Turned on by Bruno Guimaraes. This is Cher. Botman taking the direct route. Well, the deflection certainly did not do him any favours.
I think it's difficult when you're not razor sharp in-game practice. They're the little differences, aren't they? When you're on top of your game and you're playing regularly, you might just save that.
Passing around, not finding a way through, but Trippier making up enough ground to retrieve it. Trippier with some space. But Rashford there to defend the situation. The calibre and quality of delivery, they have the targets, they have the potential in a situation like this. Going to play it in now. Well, more than a glimmer of an opportunity for big Dan Burn.
How well has this worked? Lovely little shift of movement from Trippier, and he's got that little kind of flicky cross where he just whips it in the air. The only thing that makes that header difficult is that Dan Burn is just backpedaling away from the goal when he heads it. It's always harder to get the direction and the power. He just doesn't get enough contact on the ball. Lovely move though. Really took me by surprise. I thought they're definitely going to deliver that first time into the box, but mixed it up nicely.
They're very creative with their attacking set pieces. They welcome ideas from anywhere. All of the coaches have a say, players. In this era of specialist coaches. Jason Tindall, the assistant head coach, has the responsibility for the defensive set pieces. Well, a couple of famous Newcastle faces, and certainly you'll recognise the one in the middle, Mr. Shearer, the ultimate goal scorer.
He didn't look like he was having a great time at the moment though, did he?
Well, it's cruel to say this, but he didn't really enjoy cup finals very much.
No, he didn't.
Having a burst. Casemiro, the hero, in that opening goal.
And he has looked good at arriving in the box more than what I thought he would, to be honest. I mean, it's been a key part of his game.
And looking for others to follow his level of passion. And it's a quote he's entitled to put up on his wall from false goals, as close as you'll see to Roy Keane, he said about it the other week.
It's high praise.
Roy Keane is here today, the Manchester United captain, working for the domestic broadcasters. yelp of anguish from Sean Longstaff.
There's been a few bumps and bruises, hasn't there, in this first half? Very competitively fought game so far, a lot of loose balls. These are the kind of ones you can really hurt yourself. I didn't really see the contact too much, whether or not he's just twisted or caught it somehow, but certainly heard the shriek.
The video assistant referee just had a little browse to see if there was anything untoward involved there. Peter Banks is the video assistant referee to David Coote. With a few points to make. He's unhappy with the officials, Sean Longstaff. Weghorst came off his arm, it seemed to me. He's won it back. Bruno Fernandes. Fred. Botman in the way on this occasion.
I mean, I like the role that Weghorst is playing as well for Manchester United. It was quite an unexpected signing, possibly, but I tell you what, he's really playing the role well. He's a real focal point, and he does well out of possession as well.
Oh, really endearing to his teammates as well, the amount of work he puts in.
Absolutely, and I think it's exactly the kind of mentality that Erik ten Hag was looking for to bring into the group.
Moran's only managed to find Joelinton. This is Sam Maximan. Bruno Guimaraes now. Share. Sam Maximan. Seeking to find a little bit of inspiration against a very packed defence, but Anthony provides it. Casemiro, and now an opportunity perhaps for Weghorst. Rashford's arriving. He'll go for it! And a helping hand from Karius.
Well, that looked on target to me. It really did. I mean, it surprised me that he had the shot, but got in a good position. It's a decent save from Karius. That's going under the crossbar.
Well, he just scented a bit of glory. He did score in the first leg of the semi-final at the City Ground, Nottingham against Forest. Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes. Shaw. Weghorst. And again. Casemiro. Botman's header. Fernandes. And the commitment is fierce. The skill level high. And that kind of thing from Anthony will certainly bring about a degree of frustration in those wearing black and white. And that illustrated starkly by the reaction of Joelinton.
I think he just thought, how many times can I beat Dan Burn here? I'll beat him once and then I'll try again. and then I'll try another time. And Dan Burn, I think, does so well, low centre of gravity, really competes brilliantly like that. I think that's what's drawn the frustration from Joel Linton and the Newcastle players.
He is cautioned as we close in on the interval. He didn't seem to be too bothered by it being apparently caught there, looking to tease and torment. Joe Linton looking to do something else, let's say.
He'd had enough.
Well, an opportunity for Newcastle to regroup. So much positive about their start. But Manchester United finding the breakthrough. Casemiro, the beneficiary from a delivery of first-class quality from Luke Shaw. And Marcus Rashford bursting clear to make it two shortly afterwards via Sven Botman. It may well go down to him, unfortunately, the Newcastle man. Loris Karius beaten. He's made one save from Weghorst before the break, but it does appear at this moment to be a long, long road back for Newcastle United. Manchester United closing in on ending their wait for silverware. Half-time at Wembley, Manchester United 2, Newcastle United 0.
Yeah, I think the first, it's fair to say, was very much against the run of play, but Manchester United capitalised and quickly made it 2, and going at half-time comfortable in the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle United. At 2-0 it is to the boys from Old Trafford. If there's a way back, it's a long way back for Newcastle United. Our thoughts are next.
The ATP 500 from Acapulco.
So I'm gonna live my life, spending every day doing what I like. I'm too young to waste my time thinking about tomorrow's not my life. So come on, enjoy the ride.
Tuesday, live and exclusive on beIN Sports 6.
سلام.
Hi.
معكم ياسين بونو.
I'm David Silva.
I'm Borja Iglesias.
شوفوا لا ليغا.
Watch La Liga on beIN Sports.
future, and Neymar is there.
No problem.
Amazing! Bigger! Millions will come. Whoa! And imagine, we're winning the hearts of the whole world. Dream bigger with QNB.
FIFA's Best Awards live from Paris for viewers in the Middle East and North Africa. Monday, 2300 Mecca on English One. Do not miss. Amongst the best now, Marcus Rashford. We've been discussing that prior to the start of the game. He has scored, but was the first against the run of play, did we think?
Yeah. I felt that they hadn't I think for half an hour they were in control of the game, Newcastle, but I did worry for them when sometimes in games you need to score, don't you? You need to capitalise on the possession and what you do with it, and they just weren't clinical enough. They've created 7 chances. I think they've hit the target once. This is the first goal. For me, I think the line is far too high. You don't really see it from that angle. From the other angle you do. Far too high, and for a free kick taker, I mean, I used to take them from the other side. That is just perfect for a free kick taker, because the keeper and the line, the defensive line, there's far too much space in between. You just put it in the space, and then it's a nightmare for defenders.
So where would you start? 6 yards and come out?
No, I'd start a little bit deeper.
Maybe
I think it's a high line.
It depends what you like as a team, and it depends what the coach wants.
Ancelotti likes to start 6 and come
Ancelotti, when
out,
he was at
doesn't he?
Everton, Richard, would put them in the 6-yard line because he liked to be facing it.
Yeah, well, which way defenders don't like running towards
their
the
own
goal.
No, they don't. But most would set up like that. Maybe not as high up as that, but most would set up like that. The trouble with free kick like this is 9 times out of 10 the right footer would take it.
Yeah, and
the good thing about this one is they leave the left footer to play it, and so it's the best cross we've seen today by a million miles from Luke Shaw. Right on the money, to be attacked, to be got at. I just don't get how many times Casemiro ends up in the end of these things. He's got such a desire when he goes in there.
I'm glad they didn't disallow it. I say again,
yes,
when it's this tight, we really shouldn't be looking for a toenail, should we?
We shouldn't be looking for a way to disallow it for a kneecap. No, or a toenail. No, we shouldn't. So the right decision was got, and that was harsh on Newcastle. They played really well, but we've talked before. Problem they've had is scoring goals in the last month or so. I've said to you before, they're just not getting enough.
Clear your heads, don't concede again, but that's not what happened. Keeper or not?
I want to be critical because I think he should.
I'm not going to be critical,
but under the circumstances, I won't.
Most keepers crouch anyway to get ready for it a little bit, and I don't think the deflection helps him in any way at all.
No, it doesn't. Certainly doesn't. But I just think if he,
I know what you're going to say. If he stands up
a little, a little bit longer.
Hard though. Once you start to go down, it's very difficult to change. No, I'm not. No. Listen, I know because he's been the topic of every conversation for the last 10 days that people are going to go, see, there you go. Nick Pope would have saved that. He might have, but he might not have. Yeah. And that's the thing. I don't think you can say that's a glaring error from the goalkeeper. I really don't.
It's not a glaring error at all. You just feel if he'd have stood up that second longer, he might have given himself an opportunity to push it over. But
yeah, maybe. I think he's unlucky. I mean, listen, the deflection's really kind for Marcus Rashford. He doesn't hit the shot well at all. It's probably not even hitting the target, but the deflection causes all the problems.
When you're scoring goals, that happened for you, isn't it?
That happens.
That's how it goes.
That happens. Long way back now. It'll be interesting to see what Eddie Howe does.
Is there any way back?
Well, there's always a way back, Richard, at 2. But they have to get the next goal. That goes without saying.
This was brilliant.
Yeah.
Darlow had to pay to get back in here.
Yeah, we'll see it. But that's the only shot they've had on target the whole 45 minutes.
To get back.
I mean, they put some decent balls in the box, Newcastle, and you just feel if one. I mean, Dan Burn should have scored with a cross. You know, they just listen. The next goal is so important for both teams. Man United get it, that's it, it's over. If Newcastle get it, they're back in it. So it's so important, the next goal.
I just don't know how long you leave it. I mean, if it was me and it's a cup final, I might make a change now.
Throw Isak on?
I might get Isak on, and I might have to. I might even take St Maximin off.
Or
the other side.
He can do something different.
Yeah.
No, Dallo plays for Manchester United.
No, he's on a booking, so I wouldn't take him off.
No, but the only thing,
like,
but he's not done enough for me, St. Maximin. That's the only thing.
Yes, but he can do. And he just
I can
there,
do that.
we saw that in a flash.
I might get Isak on at the top end of the pitch with Callum Wilson.
No, I'm taking Wilson off, mate. If I'm putting Isak on.
No, you're not changing nothing.
I am. I'm getting a better player on. Much better player.
You're not changing anything. Give him something different to deal with.
I'm not taking St. Maximin off.
Well, I'm taking one of them off.
I'm not.
I'm either taking him or Almiron off. There you go.
No, there's another one that might just do something.
Mate.
Well,
the mate's not good enough for the
And
cup
Wilson
final.
at the moment,
Longstaff.
way off.
No.
Why?
Michelle Bear in midfield.
Harrius.
More in a minute.
Yes, I've got an idea. Botman.
Imagine you scored the goal of the year. Can you dream bigger? Now imagine it's remade by Caddy. In the city of the future, and Neymar is there.
No problem.
Amazing! Bigger! Millions will come. Whoa! And imagine we're winning the hearts of the whole world. Dream bigger with QNB.
NBA. Today, live and exclusive on beIN Sports 2 English.
And 1, 2, 3,
The French Cup quarter-finals. Tuesday, live and exclusive on beIN Sports 2. Wednesday, live and exclusive on beIN Sports channels.
English Premier League. Arsenal. Everton. Wednesday, live and exclusive on beIN Sports 1 English.
Yes, strange old game of football in that first half. Newcastle United with all of the possession. Manchester United simply devastating on the counter-attack. A couple of potential substitutions to look out for early in this second half. For Manchester United, Aaron Wan-Bissaka warming up heavily as the half-time approached. You wonder, with Diego Dallo on a yellow card, Erik ten Hag has been so strong with his changes. Alan Saint-Maximin giving the fullback a tough time. That might be the only way Newcastle could get back into this if United were to go down to 10. As for the Magpies, Jamal Lascelles was warming up heavily as we approach the break. He's still out there now during half-time. You wonder if perhaps Fabian Schär hasn't quite recovered from that head knock he picked up midway through the half. Certainly Newcastle's defending has been anything but what we've been used to from the side with the best defensive record in the Premier League so far.
Marcus Rashford has not scored.
Nope. I did say it looked off target, and it was off target because the powers that be have given Sven Botman the luxury of an own goal.
Bayern Munich free up against Union Berlin if you're watching in the MENA region.
I think that's a little statement from them as well.
Yeah.
3-0.
Of course, for 3 points this afternoon. Dortmund were top overnight. So it's a Sven Botman own goal, not a goal for Marcus Rashford. Either way, Newcastle are 2 down. Well, he's coming on, Andy.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if I kept Callum Wilson. I would have kept Callum Wilson on. I just think you need to give him something different to deal with. But we shall see. I'm not sure who's going off Richard.
He hasn't really done a lot, Wilson, has he?
No, but listen, he's got a goal. They need a goal. They need a goal.
Slower than a weekend in prison, though. This fella here is
he can't.
This fella's sharp, right?
Yes. There's Wan-Bissaka on.
That makes sense.
That'll be the booking.
Fellow was on a yellow, wasn't he?
Yeah. I just don't know who's going off for Newcastle. It's just like for like.
He doesn't like to play the two, does he?
I haven't thought about it. I would have taken Longstaff off now. You've got Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes. Yeah, I would. That's what I said to you. I just said that. I agree. No. I agree. I didn't look at my midfield when I was looking at my midfield. Their midfield, sorry.
Oh, we know what he can do.
Yeah.
And they paid a lot of money for him to be able to do it.
He gave us a little glimpse of that at Anfield, didn't he?
He did.
When he played.
Okay, we've still not seen the confirmation, have we? So,
there's Callum Wilson,
yeah. So he's got them both on. It is Longstaff. Okay, let's go back and join Matthew Upson and Daniel Mack.
Right. A lot of positive elements in their performance in the first 45 minutes, but cutting edge hasn't quite been as prevalent in recent Premier League encounters. Manchester United is certainly there, and Rashford with real determination, and Fred. And the finish that was there in midweek, not present at Wembley.
I mean, just how measured is Marcus Rashford at the moment. Bursting through, but just to get his head up here, find that little pass, lovely weight as well, knowing that Fred wants that on his left foot, side-footed, and he just doesn't really make anything of it, Fred. It's a good opportunity.
Well, that tells you what the Manchester United mood is, and the word settle is not in their vocabulary at the moment. One of their biggest wins at Wembley was against Newcastle in the Charity Shield, as was back in 1996 when they won 4-0. A fate they've also doled out to Chelsea and Brighton in FA Cup finals. A fate he will be at the very least keen to avoid.
Just trying to figure out Newcastle at the moment, I think. It's just Guimaraes. Joe Linton sitting in front of the back four.
Wan-Bissaka making an early attacking impression. Oh, and Fred arriving. It's dealt with by Botman. Anthony with a chance. Straight forward for Karius.
He's a little bit frustrated there, Anthony. He knows those opportunities in this area, inside on his left foot. This is what he's all about. This is just where he wants it. He doesn't strike it particularly venomously, and Karius is always along the line.
Bar 3 of his senior goals have come with that trusty weapon. The left foot, one header and 2 right footers, if you really want to know.
Good detail. That's what it's all about.
I've watched them all. Isak. Certainly showing his running power.
Isak just playing off the front at the moment.
Seems that way. Wilson trying to make inroads, but Varane has read just about every situation he's been faced with perfectly this afternoon.
Really just pushed him up, Isak, to play in behind Callum Wilson and Joelinton and Bruno Guimaraes, to sit in front of the back four and see if that brings any more joy.
Of course, ploughing something of a lone furrow here. Well, compatriots very much on opposite sides. And while Botman was the focus of attention there, we can confirm that that second goal has gone down to him. Wan-Bissaka in determined move, Wout Weghorst shouts for handball against Botman. No great reaction from officials on pitch and off. Video assistant referee Peter Banks and his team have said there was nothing in it. It was the last thing Botman needed after scoring an own goal, which incidentally is the first in the League Cup final for 18 years since Steven Gerrard helped Chelsea claim the trophy in Cardiff in 2005.
Well, let's see if Kieran Trippier can produce the same kind of quality as what Luke Shaw did in the first half of the delivery from this side.
This will be a bit of comparing of notes to the next England get-together.
Maybe. He certainly has got the quality, hasn't he?
So Trippier will deliver, and deliver it well. Certainly needed defending, and Wan-Bissaka did that. Shaw and Martinez both up for that one. Thread away. Bruno Guimaraes for Newcastle. Some good work here from the Brazilian. Almiron.
He's had a good start, Wan-Bissaka, since coming on off the bench. I mean, great tackle moments ago, and then a really good, important defensive header there. Exactly why he's on the pitch.
Erik ten Hag will be delighted to see a substitute so keen to prove a point.
Yeah.
Sam Maximan. Now a test for Wan-Bissaka, you would think. Or maybe not.
There's every now and then you see his feet go a little bit too fast for his body, or maybe his mind even. I mean, he's so quick across the ground. Alex Maximan just gets that one a little bit wrong.
Telling me a while back that he's the best dribbler he's ever worked with. I'm sure he hasn't changed his mind. Anthony in the end only presenting that to Joelinton. Wilson. Guimaraes, Almiron, and Trippier, and Martinez, typically brave. Well, Wilson and Trippier feeling it would suggest handball is what they're saying.
Well, I didn't see the hand come in, but no, it was very brave defending from Martinez. He heads the ball initially. Whether it does get the contact on his hand after that initial touch, I'm not sure, but top defending. Knew exactly where Callum Wilson wanted to go and just got his body right in the way and defended it well.
Select band of Manchester United players who won the ultimate prize in football now. Lisandro Martinez, 5 World Cup winners. 3 of them did it here. Bobby Charlton, Nobby Stiles and winger John Kennelly, who was one of the people on the pitch that legendary commentator Kenneth Wolstenholme was talking about at the end of the final when Jeff Hurst rammed it in to make it 4 for England. He wasn't playing. Fernandes. No corner given. He was adamant about it, Bruno Fernandes, and after a moment of pondering, the referee agreed.
I think you just could tell from the flight of the ball, couldn't you? Had that real kind of rapid dip on the ball, which normally indicates there's a slight deflection.
Shaw is in, delivers it, defended by Byrne. And it's Bruno's turn.
Not in any rush, are they, Manchester United? They're happy for these set plays, corners, slow the game down, not allow Newcastle to try and build any kind of tempo.
Shaw, Weghorst. And here is Byrne. Good user of the ball, as is Trippier. Wilson trying to turn it on towards Almiron. Newcastle able to get it back. Linton for Trippier once more. This is Almiron. Sticking well to the defensive task.
And I think there's a lot of respect between those two England teammates, but when you're on the pitch you can respect each other, but you have to compete in the right way, and I think those two certainly have in this game so far. Marcus Rashford doing a good defensive job there.
Made changes, Eddie Howe, yet to really make an impression. Shaman in a degree of anguish.
This is what Wan-Bissaka does. He roughs people up. At half-time the change was going to happen. I thought Iguodala on the yellow card, I mean, it's clumsy from Wan-Bissaka, but it's almost kind of, I don't know what I'm doing type thing. It's an accident, or I stumbled into you off the pitch, but all these little things are part of the game.
I deliberately, accidentally knocked you over.
That's exactly right.
Here's Saint-Maximin. Held up this time. And cut out by Anthony, who's under real pressure here from Byrne. He's done his job well. Wan-Bissaka having to get his challenge right. Bruno Guimaraes. Byrne. It's as much about will as skill in that situation for Newcastle. Guimaraes painful. Mentioned his ankles in an area of concern recently.
Unbelievable footwork on show there, wasn't there? You know, both sets of players, Saint-Maximin, Bruno Guimaraes, but he just made that tackle there, and if you look at his ankle, think he was just a little bit loose. Let me look at the footwork here to get out of tight situations. A lot of chopping and changing, a lot of movement. But when eventually the tackle comes in here, I think there his ankle was loose in the tackle and he's just stretched his ligaments, got it caught in the turf. It's a nasty one.
I mentioned that problem he had in the game against Fulham, which they won late on at St James's Park against the fellow European contender. He left the pitch in real distress that day because of an ankle issue. Some words for the captain. Second club that those three have worked together at, as Trippier was at Burnley with Eddie Howe and Jason Tindall. And they're still in good voice, the Newcastle supporters. They've lost 8 successive matches at Wembley.
That's not a fun record, is it? I mean, everyone loves a cup final, but you do like to win the odd one, don't you?
Maximan. Quite on his wavelength.
Not quite happening for Newcastle United in that area of the pitch. It's been a tough game in terms of creating good goal scoring chances in front of goal. They've been good in wide areas, lots of nice interplay. They haven't had the finishing touch.
Manchester United a club for sale. Glazer here. And plenty of interested takers from various parts of the world, understandably. Some interesting developments in the coming months, I'm certain. But the on-pitch progress is the most encouraging fact about Manchester United at the moment. You can look back to the start of the season and, well, it was the stuff of nightmares to lose first to Brighton and then so crushingly at Brentford. But for that, had they got moving right from the off, they would be right in the thick of the title race now.
It's been a rapid increase in the performance levels, hasn't it? And it's all credit to Erik ten Hag, the mentality that he's brought to the group, the discipline. I think it had been lacking that for quite a number of seasons, to be honest, and they were almost stuck in a trance of what that was, and he soon shook them out of it. Players like him, Martinez, how infectious he's been in the group as well. The commitment he shows on the pitch, I think it just sends a message, doesn't it?
Influence strong at both ends of the pitch for Manchester United. Considerable South American influence in the Newcastle side, not shining as brightly.
A little bit disappointed with Callum Wilson. He's not really got in the game, and the touches he has had, he's given the ball away quite a few times in good build-up areas, and he's just not had one of his better games for me.
He scored here in the colours of his country. That's the USA. San Maximan. Can he get there? He can do more than that. The last bit is frustrating from a Newcastle perspective, but Isak forced away from goal. Challenges have to be right in that situation from those defending. Shaw away, up to Bruno Fernandes.
And I think we've just seen a big part of what Manchester United have done in this game today. The way their midfield players have reacted when they've been under pressure, they've swarmed, haven't they? They're always helping out a full-back, a centre-back in and around the box. They've got masses of numbers that just react to the danger. Newcastle found it very hard to find any space to develop anything outside the 18-yard box.
Trippier, Isak, Saint-Maximin. Just looks up and sees another red shirt closing in. Almiron.
Straight away Casemiro's there, isn't he? Helping out the fullback.
Maybe as much a triumph of diligent discipline if they do it. Almiron, another example. Came to Almiron again, swept away by Wan-Bissaka. They have such threat on the counter-attack with this man, whether he's at full speed or not. Robbed by a backtracking. Actually, Sherry's on it back in the fluorescent boots, similar to Almiron. Head of Wan-Bissaka. Saint-Maximin. Again, Wan-Bissaka shutting the door in his face, but Newcastle have forced a corner.
And it's just the best shift of body weight I think I've seen for a long time. The way he just drops the shoulder and his hip just pops out and throws it one way, then the other. But Wan-Bissaka did very well just to hold his ground, not buy the first one or the second one, maybe not even the third one, and just keep his eye on the ball, stay on his feet. You have to against a player like that.
Takes a cool head in the cauldron, though, to do that.
It does, yeah.
Share. Trippier does find a Newcastle player in Botman. He returns the compliment. Trippier thought he was blocked off by Martinez. There was absolutely zero reaction. Cushion header for Almiron. Newcastle pushing, but there's just so little space for them to find an inroad. Offside flag up there against Almiron, but Manchester United are moving. The post is falling, but a challenge just a moment prior on Fred is penalised. And Manchester United have a free kick. And there's a card for Botman, whose day is not getting any better.
They're having a go though, Newcastle, they really are. There's the tackle. Isak late on Fred, just bounces him to the floor. And then I think Botman goes in afterwards. You can just see the reaction of the Newcastle players that they're not particularly happy with the decision.
The official record will show dissent. No one following up to feed off the scraps from Weghorst. Wan-Bissaka on this occasion on Saint-Maximin as Manchester United look to refresh their ranks. And it's the midfield area in which the reinforcements are coming. Marcel Sabitzer and Scott McTominay. That's Varane who dealt with it. Got hands on Dan Burn. Burn is in there again though, and De Gea has come. Owen fired in. Joelinton initially, and he will go for it again. All hands to the pump. It's the Argentinian Martinez who thwarts the Brazilian.
Well, there's just a line of red shirts all in a row. We talked about how well they've filled this area, just smothered the edge of the 18-yard box and inside, and they do it again. I mean, there's bodies everywhere, getting blocks in, stopping Newcastle players from really getting any clear run at goal.
Could be towards the back post, trying to get over all the bodies, but amid that morass, something displeased David Coop. Well, it's the end of the early evening for Fred and Weghorst. Well, an element of freshness. The workload has been high. And a word or two for the skipper. Rashford moving centrally, and Fernandes at the moment moving left.
Yeah. Make that really solid in there. McTominay, Sabitzer just sitting in front of Casemiro, and then the back four. I mean, they really have handled that area of the pitch with, in terms of the balance of numbers. They've just not allowed any space at all for Newcastle. They've forced them wide every time. They've just blocked that whole centre of the pitch really well.
Swept forward there by Byrne, but to no avail. McTominay, Rashford, Sabitzer demonstrating his freshness. Anthony.
I've been hugely impressed with him since coming on. Yeah. I think he's just been brilliant, Wan-Bissaka. To come on at half time with the role that he's had. I mean, the tackle he made early on, and then since then he's just been exactly what Erik ten Hag wanted.
Fernandes has seen the run of Shaw. Well, he set that move in progress. The captain's armbands today in solidarity with all of those who continue to suffer in the conflict in Ukraine, a year on from its outbreak. Saint-Maximin. Saint-Maximin again, this time with Anthony for company. Joelinton to Bruno Guimaraes. Oh, they found a way round the back here, but De Gea pounces. Flag up for offside in any case against Kieran Trippier.
I mean, it did look marginally offside for me because he just had so much advantage on the run. Yeah, probably just slightly, but very tight. But even then, just that edge in front of goal hasn't been there to finish that chance off. I mean, De Gea does well to get down, but it's been the story of that for me this game so far for Newcastle.
Remember that glorious ball that Sean Longstaff put in the first half, where there were no takers in black and white.
They just haven't got him where it hurts, have they? You know, it's a cup final. You have to have those moments on the pitch where you're in the right place at the right time, and you know, that hasn't been the case for Newcastle. Certainly in the kind of centre forward area or attacking midfield players arriving.
day when you don't want to have regrets. Newcastle may have a few. Unless they can produce something remarkable in the next 20 minutes. Sabitzer, some great determination, and Rashford! Oh, Karius able to react. Seemed to take another nick. This is Shaw. Oh, he was a little unselfish there, albeit it was on his weaker foot.
If he had that be on his left foot, he would definitely had a crack. But here we see the counter-attacking, or the ability to play on the shoulder that Marcus Rashford has. It was a great pass from Sabitzer, wasn't it? Brilliant tackle initially to win the ball back. He's got one thing on his mind, one touch and bang, it's in behind. Big trouble, onto his right foot. Karius gets down. It's not the cleanest of hits from Marcus Rashford, just allowed Karius to save.
Newcastle in trouble. Sabitzer went for glory. He just was a little apologetic towards Anthony there, who was alongside him, but he saw the whites of the post.
And you can sense that maybe Newcastle getting a little bit tired, a little bit more ragged in that back four and midfield area. And the freshness of Manchester United with Sabitzer, McTominay coming on, any kind of loose passes, they're on it straight away.
Martinez putting his head where others might fear to tread. And here's Wilson. He's looking round for the support. Wasn't arriving at a rate of knots. Thought there might have been a touch of the breakneck about their bids to get into that penalty area and give him an option. Well, maybe they've got it in them now.
No, well, every time it's happened, there's more Manchester United shirts reacting than Newcastle, isn't there? Because the ball turns over, the players are in the same positions in terms of how hard it is to work back, but it's just this lack of almost taking a gamble and just freeing yourself up to go, right, I'm going to go and get in the box, and just been lacking that from Newcastle United.
There's McTominay, the long leg of Burn, able to win that cleanly.
It's a telescopic long leg, isn't it? You can reach far distances with that sliding tackle. He's done it many a time, Dan Burn.
Go gadget legs. Here's Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka, Rashford. Take the long way round. Anthony can get it under his spell. And that's a foul by Wan-Bissaka. So Newcastle changes. Jacob Murphy, Wembley ball, and Joe Willock about to come on. Bruno Fernandes. Sabitzer. And certainly an added dynamism since he's come on. Shaw. Wan-Bissaka made himself available. The team 2-0 up with their two fullbacks this high up the pitch. He does illustrate a real genuine attacking impression Newcastle have been able to make, although De Gea's come a long way and he made the right decision.
Just for a second there I thought, oh, where's he going? It was a good ball from Dan Burn, I think it was, who got it out of his feet and just saw Alan Saint-Maximin into space.
So Saint-Maximin is withdrawn. Had a terrific start to the game. Bruno Guimaraes, his race is run.
Yeah, I think he's going straight inside to put his ankle in an ice pack. Bruno Guimaraes, he did well to carry on after that nasty ankle roll.
Well, Cher has moved forward. Willock, a match winner on his day, hoping to be something of a match saver here for Newcastle in what remains. And the noise you just heard, the boot of Byrne created. Quite expensive those, you know. Anthony Fernandez, and this is the danger for Newcastle. Just didn't quite run for Rashford. Trippier doing just enough to keep Newcastle just about in the game.
And I think Bruno Fernandes could have done too much more, if I'm honest. He couldn't play it any earlier because Rashford wasn't up with him. But they're certainly just going to play like that now. They're going to sit back, allow it to come on, and all of a sudden that ball in behind or down the side is the one that's on.
Murphy teasing Casemiro and forcing a corner. The young man still born in Wembley, Newcastle fan all his life. Opening a window of opportunity for Newcastle here, forcing this set piece. And if it's going to come for them, this is a very likely route, although not with a delivery like that. Bruno Fernandes. Now then, it's a shout. It's not a big shout. Certainly David Coote feeling he got the challenge right. And Murphy is the back man. Barely a peep from VAR, checked and cleared. Isak, Martinez, Trippier. Casemiro with two Newcastle players in close attendance. One possession back, and Willock will drive on, but Wan-Bissaka will defend the situation.
Another little look at the tackle here. Fernandes with the initial block, and then the contact after. I think it's both players coming together for the ball. I don't think that's a penalty.
Dealt with by Casemiro. A couple of important headers in that penalty area today. This is Anthony. We're going to get Manchester United up the pitch. He's not going to be on the pitch much longer. He's given away a foul. Jadon Sancho is prepared to replace him, and that is happening now. Well, he has got over his various struggles, Jadon Sancho. Anthony has had quite the week. Crucial goal against Barcelona on Thursday. He celebrated his 23rd birthday on Friday, and on Sunday he is very, very close to claiming a major prize in the colours of Manchester United. So his race is run. Sancho's role, a walk-on part, but maybe an important one. England's head coach keeping abreast of developments.
I mean, with the amount of games Manchester United have, it must be hard for Anthony to squeeze in his celebrations, no? He's not going to have a night off that's less than 24 hours before a game at the moment, the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, they've got an FA Cup tie in midweek against West Ham, Liverpool, in the Premier League next weekend.
And then are they Europe again straight away?
That's right. Real Betis follows hot on the heels of that.
It's an unbelievable schedule they have, isn't it?
Price of success.
I'm sure they're not complaining.
You might argue with their place in the Europa League, it isn't necessarily the price of success, it's the price of not getting it quite right.
Absolutely.
But they are in a good position to potentially win that competition, although other English clubs might have a say in that. Murphy having a bit of a slash at it.
But I don't think there's been enough of that. Face someone up, get your opportunity, hit your shot. They haven't asked enough questions of David De Gea in this game, Newcastle United, and I'm sure that they may look back and just feel a little bit disappointed about that.
Yeah, the Geordie nation hardly
بيير في تنفيذ الركنية هايلة.
can imagine his face will be pretty thunderous if they do. De Gea beats it away.
Good decision under pressure. It's a solid fist on that, David De Gea.
Almiron back in there. Cher is up there. Joe Linton trying to direct it goalwards. Head him that way, and Fernandes has managed to find Rashford. Found him absolutely perfect. Oh, a lapse by Botman, and they could be punished for it. It's Rashford. Plenty of red shirts around. Sancho is one of them. Wan-Bissaka is one of them.
Such a poor pass from Jadon Sancho to Marcus Rashford. He just overhit it with his left foot. If he puts the right weight on that pass, Rashford's in on goal. And there's another one of them from this guy who really has taken his job seriously in this second half. He's come on and been a tackling machine.
Well, we were debating before the game whether Dallow's selection tonight suggested he was the number one right back. I think Wan-Bissaka's second half performance would suggest not.
No, he's not done himself any harm, has he? I think he might be number one in my team, actually. I like a fullback to put a tackle in and defend like he does. I like the way he plays.
Casemiro going into the book here.
Yeah, that's late. Just catches Joe Linton.
One bit of quality plus a bit of bravery in attacking it. And it's still flying about. They're almost inviting Murphy to shoot. And David De Gea was just hoping and praying there.
Wow. David De Gea on his knees watching this. I mean, Jacob Murphy thinks, okay, I'm at the back, I'll just step forward and hit this one. Look at the swerve. Roberto Carlos-esque from Jacob Murphy. That is very, very close. And I tell you what, if that nestles in that end with this crowd behind it, the last few minutes could be very uncomfortable for Manchester United if one goes in.
Certainly not a like-for-like change, some reinforcement at the back. Marcus Rashford questions about his fitness in the build-up to the game, replaced by Harry Maguire. But it is Rashford who has helped United land the decisive blow, albeit it will go down as an own goal by Sven Botman.
Is this a three at the back for Manchester United? Looks to be, with Wan-Bissaka and Shaw as wing-backs.
Songs of victory beginning to fill the air. It's picked off by Almiron. Clock ticks in to the 90th minute at Wembley. Joelinton now for Newcastle. Almiron. Challenge from Shaw. Sancho on the charge. Botman imposing himself fairly and squarely. Burn. Elliot Anderson and Matt Ritchie getting ready to come on for Newcastle as they continue to press. Ooh. It threatened to cannon kindly for Callum Wilson. In the end he comes to grief, a few unhappy with him for maybe searching for something that wasn't due him. So, 5 added minutes, plenty of time remaining. Words of a non-pacifist nature exchanged there.
I think it's pretty clear what Martinez is saying. He's not happy. Callum Wilson going for this ball and just kind of wrapped his foot around him and tried to fall on top of him. And I think he had a right to try and keep it in at this stage in the game if you're going to usher the ball out.
So changes for Newcastle, the experience of Matt Ritchie. Wilson, fellow former Bournemouth player, withdrawn, as is Almiron. Part in the drama is done. Is there going to be a dramatic twist? Burn. Murphy, Maguire halting him momentarily. And foul given.
Straight away, Kieran Trippier is sprinting over to this ball. He wants it. He wants to put an in-swinger into the box with that right foot.
Shaw has received a yellow card.
It's Ritchie taking over, isn't it?
Lovely left foot. Oh, and directed by Joelinton. And a moment of genuine concern for David De Gea.
He just had to claw this away. Loops up in the air. It's an awkward one. Just slaps it away almost. Just get it out of here.
And the Newcastle flags are flying. Still showing their pride in their team and their sense of unity. And the team look as though they're going to go down today, but they are going down fighting. Incredible scenes. More trouble here. It was Botman in difficulty. Fernandes with Sancho alongside him. Fernandes keeps his head, but Karius denies him. And gets the congratulations from his colleagues.
Well, just tiredness here is to blame for Botman. He can barely lift his legs. Fernandes is in. He could have crossed the ball early to Sanchez, but cuts inside, and credit to Karius. It's not easy stepping into a game of this magnitude, and he makes himself big there. It's a good save.
Distinguished himself there, the goalkeeper. McTominay. Tumultuous noise as we close in on the climax. United supporters in party mood, a victory party. The Newcastle fans are going to party come what may, having taken over Trafalgar Square last night and the area around Wembley Stadium today. Really blasting that. That's not going to be taken kindly to. Oh, Cher really upset by it. That is very uncharacteristic, but it shows how frustrated Newcastle must be with themselves as much as anything. Referee David Coote will have to get his card out again here.
Been quite a hard-fought affair, it has to be said. I think there's been plenty of good, fair, competitive tackles. A little bit of aggravation. Martinez, quite regularly at the heart of it, actually, is that type of player, isn't he? Very combative and can get under the skin a little bit.
Cher and Martinez were booked. One for each side. Sancho. There was a time when a man named Eric was a catalyst for a change in Manchester United fortunes. It could just be happening again. The first trophy he hopes of many in his reign at Old Trafford. He's certainly the king now. And his team, with a combination of craft and discipline, have delivered on the Wembley stage. Newcastle started with such vigour and intent, but end product was beyond them. And when their pressure was at its most feverish, Manchester United struck a perfect free kick from Luke Shaw, dispatched perfectly home by the Brazilian head of Casemiro. Sven Botman then the misfortune of diverting Marcus Rashford's effort into his own net. A lead that proved too commanding. Newcastle applied the pressure. They put it in. But there wasn't that sense at the end that they really had the bravery or the ability to ultimately make it happen against a determined and disciplined Manchester United defence. And it is the United wearing red who have their hands on this trophy for the 6th time in their history. A 6-year silverware drought is over. The final score at Wembley, Manchester United 2, Newcastle United 0.
And that trophy stays in the Northwest again, has done since 2016. It's a bit Well done, Manchester United. And good effort, Newcastle. All part, I think, of the learning, the growing, development is the right word, I think. Development that's been going on there over the past 18 months or so, and will continue to do so.
Progress. Yeah. I don't think it's the end for Newcastle. We know their intentions. They're back in that they're going to have in the next few transfer windows. They'll develop, they'll progress as well. Part of their learning curve for some of the players. With Ten Hag, like so many, we spoke about it. You know, the progression of the football club, the developments. This is a big step for him, and plus for him personally. I think now, whoever takes over the football club, or if the owners stay in charge, it gives him a bit of kudos when he wants something.
Strange game, I thought. Strange game. You know, United have won it, and anyone who hasn't seen it will think, yeah, that's it. We expected United to win. They probably won quite comfortably. Played well. They did play well, and they didn't win quite comfortably. If I look at that United performance, I'm taking nothing away from them. They've won the cup. That's what you do when you go to a final. You win it. And that's the job when you get there, regardless how you play. But all their best performers were defenders. All their best performers. 2 centre-backs defended really well for them. Casemiro doing what he does in front of them, snuffing out danger, doing all that for them. They were the best 3 players they had. You look at the front end, Rashford, not a lot. Pekos, no. Anthony, nothing. You know, they really, Fernandes, nothing.
Rashford, quiet.
You know, they were all quiet, but they've won it because they were good defensively, Richard. And I think we've always said if they have a problem right now, Newcastle, it's scoring goals, and that was amplified today when they couldn't get through. They did everything they could. They worked hard. They never gave up. They had plenty of the ball, but they couldn't find a way through.
Lacked the cutting edge, didn't they?
Lacked it, Jason.
Well, it's not as
those two there. You see that?
Yeah.
That's great. Because they talked. I read a piece today when Rafael Varane was saying, "Well, you know, we're like not the good and the bad, but he's a little warrior." You know, Lisandro Martinez, and I'm a bit bigger and a little more cultured, and they mix well together. They're a lovely mix of two of them.
It's a tough one when you've lost, isn't it? Those Newcastle fans, Eddie Howe, backroom staff.
It is if you don't use it, and by that I mean get back again. Remember what this feels like, and don't want to feel like it again. So it can be a plus. Yeah. It really can. I know that sounds stupid when you just lost a cup final, but you can use it in the future. I'm not saying now, I'm not saying tomorrow, the next day. I'm talking if their ambition is to come back again, then you come back and you remind them how you felt. You feel like that?
Well, I was in the situation when, I talk about Liverpool when we were in Switzerland with Jürgen, and we took them to the Europa League final in Sevilla and we lost. And we had a party scheduled in case we obviously won the game in the hotel, and we got back there and we all met in the area where the party was sectioned off, and no one felt like celebrating, doing anything. We'd lost the final, so we all sat around, and then Jürgen gets on the microphone and he does this rousing speech about how we, this feeling now, we need to feel it, but this is the start of something great. And you need to never want to feel like this again, and you've got to use it, you've got to turn it into a positive. And within an hour, we were all partying and having a good time.
They've said they won't take the open top bus through Newcastle if they lose. Again, I think that's the right decision.
Yeah.
I can imagine they would get very well received.
Oh, they'd get
enormously well received.
Listen, you only had to see the way the game ended.
Yeah. Save it until you win.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, I agree.
Agreed.
And you must now, as you say, be convinced that you can win.
Yes, be convinced you can get back. And the next time, use it. But for United, we don't know. I mean, Mourinho used this when he came to Chelsea, didn't he? As a stepping stone for the success that he gave Chelsea after that. There's two he knows well, haven't he? He coached them in Holland.
How often you see Brazil and Argentina embracing it?
Not many. He's been sensational, Casemiro.
Well, it raised a few eyebrows, didn't it, when they signed him? But he's done everything and more that they would have hoped or could have hoped.
The question marks was his motivation and
he's got plenty of
why he was coming. At his age, leaving Real Madrid, the money he was supposedly being paid. But I think he's quickly proven what not only a fantastic player, but you could see the influence he's had in the dressing room as well.
100%. Leader.
Yeah.
By example.
Yeah.
Cares about it.
And that was a dressing room that needed someone.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's funny because they lost Eriksen, didn't they? And he'd been having such a good season, and everybody thought, that's going to be a massive blow. I think if they'd lost him, it would have been a bigger blow for what he gives them.
Well, he got suspended for a couple of games. They coped, didn't he? But I do agree with you. He takes them to another level again, doesn't he?
Yeah.
As is tradition, the runners-up make the long walk first.
It used to be 23 steps up, and back, and we're counting.
Well, they used to go inside there.
They're still doing it, though.
I think. Oh, they are. Yeah.
They
go inside. Yeah. They go inside and then come back out.
Yeah, the other one was better. That's too long.
I think they've got bigger plans than.
Yeah, as I said, it is one of the foundation blocks, isn't it?
Of course.
When you think where Newcastle were 18 months ago,
yes,
to where they are now,
and
that's an enormous.
And that's the majority of the same team from last season, by the way. They haven't blown the bank, have they, and gone out?
I was just going to say, Jason, I think for them in progress, I think recruitment is paramount now. They've got some good players now. Can they tempt great players to go and join them? I think that for me is the next stage.
Do you think location-wise?
It's always been a problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
We know that. That's why Richard's always told them, move your training ground to London.
I know, that's that debate. But still, you look at it, and years gone by, we mentioned some great names. Ginola went there, Asprilla.
The most expensive player in Britain at the time, Alan Shearer.
He was always
going to the back, wasn't he? But they have enticed them a little bit, I think.
Well, they've got the money to entice
now
people.
They have.
That's the certainty. Yeah. We know that. If money is any player's motivation, they've got it. In bucketfuls. But I just think it's hugely important for Eddie Howe that, yes, this team have done well and are doing well, but if they're going to move it up, then when I look at that group, Jason, they're going to have to raise the level of talent there to move to the next level, I think.
All over.
I mean, they're decent at the back. The back four has played well again tonight. But I think midfield
to go to the top level.
Midfield up front. We saw the up front. You've got Isak and they've got Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson looks short tonight. Isak, we don't know yet. Paid a lot of money for him.
Yeah.
So we wait and see if he's going to be the real deal or not.
Away the lads. Okay. For the presentation, let's rejoin Daniel Mann.
Increasingly displaying that they have a team capable of achieving the standards that are expected. Harry Maguire, the club captain, we shouldn't forget. Despite his lack of a regular starting role, seems as though, at least in tandem with Bruno Fernandes, he is getting the opportunity to lead them up. Well, Chris Smalling, Patrice Evra, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville and Steve Bruce are the names of Manchester United captains who have had the honour of lifting the famous three-handled trophy. First claimed the prize back in 1992, 2006 in Cardiff, 2009 here on penalties against Tottenham, 2010 against Aston Villa, having fallen behind. They hit back swiftly. They came back to overcome a stirring Southampton comeback at Wembley 6 years ago. For the sixth time, they will receive this prize. Casemiro, an outstanding contributor. Casemiro, a Manchester United hero. A signing that was seen by some as a player coming towards the end, but his fierce commitment and his impressive quality have suggested that this is just the start of another great adventure after many a glory day at Real Madrid. And for Marcus Rashford, well, you won't see his name on the score sheet ultimately, but he has more than played his part again. They get 30 medals. Only the players involved in the squad will get them today. Intriguingly, Martin Dubravka of Newcastle could get one, having played for United earlier this season in the competition. Well, it's going to be a joint effort, it would seem. For Bruno Fernandes and Harry Maguire. Well, he knows all about success and how to toast it. And a big, big cheer as he appears on the big screen at Wembley. The architect of the triumph, Erik ten Hag. And this, the moment it's all been about. Manchester United back in the business of winning. After a 6-year wait, silverware returns to Old Trafford. For the 6th time, they are triumphant in the English Football League Cup. And it may be the first of quite a few this season and in the years to come. Erik ten Hag's Manchester United are very much back in business. And the party is just beginning.
Player of the match, Casemiro.
There's a surprise. You're not a fan of this presentation, are you, Mr. Keith?
I hate it.
Why?
He prefers it on the pitch, Jason.
You like the
I
pitch?
just think it's a mess, Jason. It's a mess. The climb, the amount of steps now, the in and out, backstage, front stage.
You're right. Did you like the old Wembley tradition?
Yeah, but I even then would say, and I do every time I see a presentation at Wembley, they will eventually now go down to the sponsors arranged a stage on the pitch, but that for me is I always give the best example of that. Liverpool and Istanbul, those fabulous pictures of Gerrard lifting the trophy in front of the fireworks and the confetti or whatever it was that they were selling. Far better. The worst one was his, Rotterdam, Everton.
My goodness, that's the worst ever.
It was just a step ladder.
It was like a 4x4 square. went up a couple of step ladders or something like that.
A couple of them party poppers.
It was, honestly, it's the worst presentation of a major trophy I've ever been involved in my life. It was embarrassing.
Any confetti?
Probably, but it was just a confetti you get at a wedding. Somebody was there throwing it with a hand.
Throwing it at you.
It was a nightmare. It was poor. I happen to agree with you. I don't like this one. I think it's too long, it's too far. They disappeared. I thought the old one was great.
Yeah.
It was short. You were up and down.
Apart from the fact that everybody on this side is left wondering what's going on because they can't see.
Yeah, I happen to agree with you.
They're inside now. They've got to come back out, yeah.
There we go. But now that they've built it that way, they are not going to change it anytime soon, I fear.
Do you like the stadium, Jason?
No, there was something about old Wembley.
Oh yeah.
The dressing rooms, the
Everything
walk.
about it. The walk's the best.
Walk was the best, yeah.
Well, Wembley had to go. It had served its purpose and time, so I didn't have a problem with that. But
I agree, but there's certain things you keep. Like you just said there, the steps. Why change that tradition? You could still develop the stadium, but keep the steps, as in up and around. You don't have to. Yeah, you can keep the walk. You can keep the walk somehow. I mean, you literally walk out onto the pitch.
I think it was a mistake not to sell it when they had the opportunity. $1 billion for grassroots football would have been a tidy sum of money. It serves no purpose being owned by the Football Association, in my view. None at all.
Was Wembley owned by the Football Association?
No.
Well, there you go. See, everyone believed that was the case, Richard, and that's why I think the fact that they owned it was accepted as easily as it was, because I don't think that fact was made known to the general public as much as it might have been.
It's an enormous debt still that they're saddled with, and there was the opportunity. Sadiq Khan, wasn't it, the Fulham owner that wanted to buy it, to say thank you, great, wonderful, have it.
Anyway, we wait and see what the next couple of months brings for this team. That's the first. It's his first.
Yes.
It's a lot of Man United players first for the club.
There will be much talk now of a quadruple.
No.
Why?
No. Well, I don't think they'll win the league. I think they're in with an opportunity, obviously. I think it's a 3-horse race, but I think
West Ham in the where's the West Ham games at Old Trafford? So they've got Old Trafford, the FA Cup, and Real Betis in the Europa League. So chance of progression. I agree. I don't think they win it. No, I don't think they win the league for a start.
Nor do I. But there will be much talk of them.
Well, there was this time
on for a
last year,
quadruple.
with Jason's team, Liverpool were the same, involved in 4 trophies, and Liverpool were a better team than this last year. But well done.
Yeah, there's a reason why teams don't do the quadruple.
Because it can't be done.
Yeah, they usually blow a gasket somewhere on the line-up.
I think Harry Maguire has behaved with nothing but dignity during a very difficult time in his playing career. He's been beaten up quite badly at different times, and yet has refused to buckle. Isn't first choice and accepts that. I think it was a smart move from Ten Hag to get him on late there and get a couple of minutes on the pitch before a joint.
By the way, it's another example of Ten Hag and what he's doing
with Fernandes.
It really is with Maguire. What he did tonight, it's another class act to get him on and put him on and let him feel more part of it when he obviously isn't part of it.
Yeah, I don't know whether it's Harry Maguire's nature or his character to do his work in the newspapers, the media, and go knocking on the doors. I think he's quite a laid-back character. Even so, it will hurt him. But I agree with Andy. We mentioned Ten Hag's man management of the team, of the younger players, and to put him on, it was a nice touch, wasn't it? It's, you know.
Do you know what as well, though? In many ways, Richard, if I'm Harry Maguire, right, going up, I'm not going in January. I ain't noising anyone up. I'm part of a team that's going for 4 trophies here. I might not be playing every game, but I'm part of it.
But it's his, and we've seen it. We've seen it in the case of a very high-profile,
overly indulged individual recently that's left the football club.
you can go down the path of expressing your frustration
I've said to you
and
before.
disappointment publicly, and it's something I think I admire that Maguire has not done.
Yeah, but individual players, I've said to you about Kieran Tierney at Arsenal. If I was Kieran Tierney, I'm amazed he's still there. He's one of the best full-backs. He was Arsenal's best player last year. He can't get a kick for Arsenal now. But he's not going anywhere. He's been quiet. He's got on with his job. And his team have got a chance to win the league, which he'll be part of, not a great part of it. And he'll probably move on in the summer, much like Maguire will probably do the same. And it's in neither of their interests to be noisy and noise people up. Not at the moment, definitely not. And I don't think either of them are of that type.
I think when we played, I think there was a majority of players that would be very, very unhappy with the situation of Harry Maguire and Kieran Tierney. But I think now, the majority of players, they go through a different system. It's more acceptable now, isn't it, to not play and not be picked, and you kind of take it on the chin a little bit.
I think Van Dijk would sit quietly on the bench at Liverpool if he wasn't being picked regularly. I think Van Dijk would sit quietly on the bench at Liverpool if he wasn't being picked regularly.
Who was that?
Christian Eriksen.
Oh, okay.
Just around everybody.
Van Dijk.
He's the captain of the club, same situation. Don't think so, do you?
I wouldn't put them in the same bracket, to be honest.
No, but my point is that Maguire is the captain of the football club. He would expect as such to be getting more game time than he is.
Yeah, but unfortunately his performances have warranted him to... I know what you're saying, but it tells you something, doesn't it? And the manager doesn't fancy it. He doesn't think he's good enough.
Something new, isn't it? New toy.
How they got that live on the TV then? If that's somebody's, or is that something that the TV have given?
Yeah, it'll be a TV gadget,
TV
won't
must
it?
have given it, man. Post-broadcaster's given it. All right.
There he is, player of the match,
Class act.
Casemiro. Manchester United 2-0 winners of the Carabao Cup today against Newcastle United after that big night, of course, against Barcelona, and they play again this coming Wednesday. We've got FA Cup fifth round games at Southampton, who play against Grimsby, Burnley, who meet Fleetwood, Manchester United, who play West Ham, and Sheffield United, who meet Tottenham. These are Tuesday's games: Stoke Brighton, Bristol City, Manchester City, Leicester Blackburn, and Fulham Leeds United. That's for viewers, of course, in the Middle East and North Africa. Okay, reaction just as soon as we get it. We will share that with you. Manchester United winners today. It was a good effort from Newcastle, who for 30 minutes or more were asking all the questions until United struck through Casemiro. Rashford thought he'd scored, we thought he'd scored. Turned out to be an own goal. Didn't matter, 2-0.
Liga. Marseille. Paris Saint-Germain. Today, live and exclusive on beIN Sports 1 English.
Salam. Hi. معكم ياسين بونو. I'm David Silva.
I'm Borja Iglesias.
شوفوا لا ليغا.
Watch La Liga on beIN Sports.
And 1, 2, 3, 4. the fight. Coming at you like a low blow. There will be no mercy shown tonight.
Open your eyes. It doesn't fool me no more. And now I realize never really knew you before.
Are you ready for the big show? Are you ready for the fight? Coming at you like a low blow. There will be no mercy shown tonight.
Well done, Manchester United. Winners of the 2023 Carabao Cup. You know what I like about that? You've got World Cup winners.
Yes.
There. And Rafael Varane, who's done it, of course, in his
Doesn't
own.
matter.
Every bit as pleased today to be lifting that as they were the World Cup. That was nice today.
Yes, it was. It was.
His sheepskin and microphone where he would have sat and last did commentating on an FA Cup final.
It was. And this one, it was like this for half an hour. Basically, Newcastle with a decent chance. Plenty of the ball, but not creating an awful lot. That was
That's
the best.
a good save.
That's a great save. That's a great save.
I just felt they had to score in this period.
Against the best sides, Jason, you need to.
Well, you do, don't you? Because you only get a few opportunities, don't you?
You need to.
You still don't fancy the keeper, Jason?
De Gea? No. No. I think he's adapted Ten Hag to what he's got. I still think it'll be a